Hey, what's up guys? I'm back with another video. This time it's going to be a build for the Vasca Kavat. I will also be doing a fashion frame for the Vasca Kavat because I have pretty cool skin and I think I did pretty decent with the coloring. Um, of course, in that video, if you don't agree, just let me know in those comments. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on the build. So I did decide to use the TEK mods in this build just because I wanted to try them out, and honestly, it's kind of fun. But I could see where they are definitely lacking. So this is not like the best build or anything. This is just a pretty good build. It is not the best build in any way. So this is more of a fun thing. So do with that what you will. But go ahead and moving on with that. So we're gonna go ahead and get into the build. So first off, it's a 6 forma build. The Vasca Kavats, they take a little bit of a, I guess like all companions, they take a little bit of work. Um, you probably don't quite need 6 formas. I do actually have sharpened claws here in a wrong polarity slot. It's supposed to be the dash, but I like sharpened claws. It sunders the armor. So what we're doing with this is we're using the TEK mods and we're making it to where basically the Vasca Kavat strips armor. So the whole point is literally for the Kavat to be going around stripping armor. Um, and then it creates the field, you know, for you to just kind of destroy them in. That field's also doing constant damage. So let me just kind of go over it little bit by little. So TEK Enhance plus 30% Kavat ability duration. Mark a 12-meter zone every 15 seconds that inflicts 200 damage a second to enemies. So it's not a lot of damage. It's definitely not a lot of damage, but it's a 12-meter zone that inflicts extra damage. So it's kind of fun. But it's not like you're gonna want to do this as like, oh, this is the best build for the Kavat. Nothing beats it, because that's not true. That's not true at all. This is just kind of to show that these can be used, and they can still do something. So the Kavat ability duration is actually pretty good. Maybe not so much for the Vasca, but I mean, still, I think it might affect the sharpened claws because that is an ability. So their armor is sundered for longer, and their flesh is rendered for longer. So, TEK Enhance, that's your first mod. Next is Prime Pack Leader. I do not have this max right now. I am actually missing 4 ranks in it. It's definitely good to get maxed, and this is one of the best mods for a companion. I honestly suggest using it on all companions, despite my last Smita Kavat build video. I actually had forgotten about Pack Leader at that time, and I went with Meta Kit. I don't know what it's called, whatever it's called. um, and I think that was a mistake. Meta Pet Kit, that's what it's called. That is definitely not as good as Prime Pack Leader, especially if you're a melee Warframe. And in this case, with the TEK mods, I am using Wukong, so he is definitely melee, and he's a fun Warframe at that. So next week I might be doing a video on his build and his fashion frame, so keep a watch for that. But moving on from that, TEK Assault is next. Kavat has 60% chance to ignore lethal damage and be immune for 4 seconds. So this is a survival mod. It's actually very good and definitely worth using. And then again, the zone is being created. 12-meter zone, inflicting 200 damage a second to enemies every 15 seconds. So it's, again, the TEK mods are not the greatest, but they're fun. So moving on, Link Health. I use this on all of my companions. They're going to need health. They need to survive. So at rank 9, it's 150% health link. Mine is not maxed. If yours is maxed, great. You'll have more health. And then after that is Link Armor, plus 80% armor link. Mine is only at rank 7. So at rank 10, it's going to be quite a bit more. It's definitely a good mod, and it'll help keep your Kavat alive longer. And the main reason to use a Vasca Kavat is, I'd say, primarily for soloing because of where is it? Because of transfusion. When its master is bleeding out, the Vasca Kavat sacrifices 20% of its health to raise them. So this Kavat can actually raise you. So it's good for solo. It's good if you have people on your team who just aren't paying attention or who just don't care to revive you. So the Vasca Kavat is a really good Kavat because it just gives that potential of just not needing other people. So it's pretty cool. Next is Shock Collar, plus 60% electricity, plus 60% status chance. And then we also combine that with Venom Teeth, plus 60% toxin, plus 60% status chance. This goes along with the stripping of armor. So it status temporarily removes up to 80% of the target's armor value. So you pair that with Sharpened Claws, a vicious attack dealing 300% damage to, or that sunders armor by 120% and rends flesh. They will pretty much never have armor, and when they do, it'll be stripped pretty quick. So definitely, if you're going for a strip armor build, you definitely want to get Corrosive and Sharpened Claws, or at least one or the other. I don't know if, Corrosive and Sharpened Claws is too much. It probably is, but the main reason I do both is Corrosive is more of a every time it attacks thing, whereas Sharpened Claws is an ability. So Sharpened Claws isn't used as much, but it's still used, and it's actually a better Sunder armor. So both work well, and that's kind of why I'm using both. You could change things out. If you don't really care about using the Corrosive because you have Sharpened Claws, you could absolutely put like Bite in and Maul and have the pet doing more damage. But these pets do not do a ton of damage. They're not really there for that. That's definitely not what they're for. But if you use them in the way that I'm using it here, they are still very useful and a lot of fun to use. So for the last mod, Draining Bite. Vasca Kavat's Bite deals 400 damage and restores 10% health to itself. So this is 400 damage. That it doesn't do more, it doesn't do less. It's 400 damage. So it's not very much. It's really not. But it's a way to keep itself alive. So these cats are kind of like vampires. They're just keeping themselves alive by life stealing, and then you're helping them have more life steal with your melee attacks, and then they're also helping you come back to life if you were to go down. So they're fun. They're definitely worth using, but over the Smita, it depends on what you're doing. Like in a survival, maybe I'd take the Vasca over the Smita, but that's if I'm not farming resources. If I'm farming resources, the Smita Kavat is definitely better. With that being said, though, the Vasca Kavat is still a very fun Kavat, and it's worth building it just because it helps with soloing. It's you don't feel like teaming up with some random people today, so you feel like soloing a bit. So you take the Vasca Kavat, you're gonna be golden. But with that being said, that's completely up to you. And you'll have to wait to see the other TEK mods until I release the Wukong video next week. So that'll be another build, and then there will be a fashion frame after that of Wukong. I might even change up what I have right now on my Wukong, and we'll see what happens. But with that being said, that is the build. Let me see if I can kind of show you the build in action a little bit. So let's go ahead and kill those enemies. Let's get the corrupted heavy gunners out. Okay, let's unpause the AI, and we're going to simulate those. So, and this green circle is actually the zone that you want everything to kind of get into. So let's get the Kavat over here, and then just aiming at it. See, all of that armor is gone. So this one has armor, this one doesn't. Armor is completely gone, which is just amazing. That one's gone now too. And now we're also in the zone. So with all of the TEK mods, we're pulling them all in, and then we can just shred through them. And if the Kavat is stripping armor, we're just going to destroy them. So it's actually really cool, and as you can see, the build is pretty effective. But the only thing is the zone is not doing a ton of damage. You know, it's not meant to do a ton of damage. What's cool about it, though, is if you're in the zone, you know, you can pull them to you by doing a slam attack with your melee. You do have to have that mod put into your weapon, though, so that's up to you. I think it's definitely worth it, but again, that's up to you. I don't know how everyone else feels about it, but I like it. I think it's pretty cool. So, you know, try out the build and, you know, see for yourself, decide for yourself. If you like it, cool. If not, you know, do something else. That's totally cool. Nothing wrong with that. I like the build. It's pretty fun, but that doesn't mean it's the best build by any means. This is just one that I came up with that used mods that aren't typically used. So with that being said, guys, if you like this video, hit that like button. If you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.